What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we're gonna be messing around with this compound truck again. Like I said last week, it was having an issue when you're driving it that the vane position was fluctuating, and then it got to the point that it was doing it constantly and kept putting the truck in a limp mode. So today what we'll be doing is replacing the actuator, and I hope that fixes the problem. I already went on with my dealer tool and I did the vane position relearn, the same thing I did on my truck. I thought at first, it was that problem, but like I said previously last week, when I was driving the truck, the vane relearn has already been done. I did it again. Now the truck's basically undrivable, so we're gonna take the stock turbo, get the actuator swapped out onto this one, and hopefully that fixes the problem. But I'm a little bit concerned because this is the exact same turbo that was in there previously and wasn't having this issue. So I'm hopeful it's the actuator, but at the same time I'm doubtful. So let's dive into this, get the actuator swapped out, and we'll go from there. So I'm gonna go on a little drive with you guys real quick. As you can see right here, the vane position is stuck at 25%. No matter how much throttle you give it, whatnot, the truck does not call or command any more than 25% vane position. As you can hear, sounds just like a fixed vane because that turbo is not working at all. Still stuck at 25%. So we're gonna get back, throw the new actuator in. Hopefully that fixes the problem and it's something simple. I would hate for it to be something else, but I'm leaning to believe that it has to be the actuator. Like I said, the vane relearn has already been done, and for whatever reason on these newer trucks, these turbo actuators are a major problem that needs to get addressed by GM. I don't get why so many of these trucks have this stupid actuator issue. It's so annoying, and as I'm going to show you guys, it's not the easiest thing to access to get at. On the 20s, it's a lot easier. In 17 and 19s, there's a lot more room, but I'm going to show you guys under the hood with why this Y bridge, it's going to be a major pain. So let's get back and work on getting this new actuator thrown in. Alright, so we're going to pop the hood and I'm going to show you guys exactly why it is such a pain to get to the actuator, specifically with this kit. With the HSP Y bridge, as you can see, it basically comes up just a little bit higher than the factory Y bridge, which blocks the actuator. So I'm kind of hoping I can just loosen the bolts on the back side of there. As you can see, there's really no room in there, and kind of just tilt it up and out, but I don't think that's going to work. I'm probably going to have to loosen the Y bridge, kind of pull it backwards, then pull the actuator out. The good part is we still have the stock turbo for this truck, and the actuator on the stock turbo worked when we got it or when we took it off. So I'm going to pull the actuator out the stock turbo, get them swapped out with this one, then I'll do the vane relearn real fast. Hopefully that clears up all the issues, and then this truck will run as it should. Basically, ever since this kit was put on, the vanes kept fluctuating to the point now that it just 100% goes in limp mode. You used to be able to clear the code, it'd run good for about a few hours, but you have to keep clearing the code. Now it's to the point that it will not run at all. No matter what you do, you relearn the vanes, clear the codes, it automatically just goes in engine power reduced and throws turbo codes. So, like I said, hopefully this actuator fixes it. Not sure what else it could be other than this is the same Stealth V1 that when everything happened with the truck, it blew a ton of oil up through the Stealth. So I'm hoping everything inside the turbo is fine. Like, I'm hoping it's not gunked up or anything like that. But the next thing would be, if that doesn't work, we'll get this V1 pulled out and slap a Stealth V2 in here, and that will definitely fix the problem. But we're hoping that we can fix this turbo because it's not a cheap turbo, and there are a lot of money already went into this, so trying to do it the easiest way possible. So I'm gonna go ahead here now, show you guys how to pull the actuator off the stock turbo. It's 4 bolts, it's really 5 bolts, it's super simple to do on the ground, but in the truck's a different story. But we'll hop into it right now. Alright, so we got the stock charger right here. As you can see, there's 4 bolts on here, 10 mil, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I believe this is a T20 with a bolt on the backhand side, and it's kind of a pain. You got to push this down out of the way to be able to access that 10 mil. And then there's a bolt in there that kind of needs to stay in there, can't get pushed out, so you got to loosen this and retain that bolt in there and screw it back in. A lot easier to do on the ground with 2 hands, but in the truck it's a pain. So gonna work on getting this actuator off, and then we'll work on getting the one in the truck currently pulled out and get them swapped out. So now that we got everything loose, I'm gonna show you guys what exactly I'm talking about with the arm here. So as you can see, we loosened that up. There's a nut inside there. Now the problem is you can't pull the actuator out because of this arm. you have to push it down, and as you can see, the bolt falls out of it, the nut. So that's the pain in the butt part when you get it back in the truck. You got to slide the nut in there with one hand, get it up like that so it stays in there, and 99% of the time it doesn't want to stay straight, and you're always fighting it, and a lot of times you drop it. When it's on the ground, you're swapping, it's a lot easier because, as you saw, you just pick it up off the ground. In the truck, it's going to fall down into the valley and be a mess, so get ready to have, you know, probably 4 of these on hand. You're probably going to end up losing a bunch of them. So right now, I'm going to get this pulled out of here, then we'll start working on getting the one out of the truck. Now, I got everything loosened up here on the actuator. As you can see, it's 100% loose. I got a magnet, because basically I'm going to put it on the backhand side, push that lever down, so when that 10 mil bolt drops out of the back of the actuator, hopefully I can grab it and get it out of there without dropping it and losing it. Now this is the part I'm hoping I can get it out of here without having to disconnect the Y bridge. As you can see, it's very tight, so I'll find out in a minute. I have a feeling I'm going to have to loosen the Y bridge, kind of just pull it backwards, which shouldn't be that bad, but just an extra step I don't want to have to do. Going to try that first. But all in all, this wasn't as bad as I thought. Definitely more room on the 20 body styles, like I said, versus the 17 and 19s. So, going to work on this right now and update you guys on what I have to do to get this out. And just like I thought, my suspicions were right. No way to get that actuator out of there without loosening this Y bridge up. So, I'm not going to disconnect any booster clamps or anything. What I'm hoping is I can just loosen the 10 millimeters on the Y bridge, just enough to pull it backwards, enough to sneak this new one in. So I'm going to do that now. Shouldn't take me long. Just got to retorque it all back to spec. Other than that, shouldn't be that big of a deal. It should only take me like an additional 15 minutes. So going to work on that right now. Alright, so as I figured, nothing is ever an easy job. Like I talk about all the time, I had to loosen the whole Y bridge, pull this back, and just barely was able to squeeze that out of there. Had to loosen the clamp up over here that goes to the cold side, and I was very careful along the way. You don't want to scratch up the powder coating, so really took my time with that. So now I'm going to go ahead and drop this new one in. Hopefully everything goes back together smoothly, and then we'll do the turbo vane relearn, give it a drive, and hopefully that fixes the problem, because if not, then all this piping kit has to come off. Basically everything, start from scratch, and we'll get new turbo thrown in. So hopefully this is easy. Like I said, I've been very optimistic this whole video, but nothing is ever easy. So keep chugging along here and get the new actuator thrown in. Okay, so we got the old actuator out, new one installed. It was a little bit of a pain getting this back in. I happened to tighten the Y bridge and forgot to hook the plug up. And basically it's so tight in here, you have to plug it in first because it kind of fluxes the plug a little bit. The ultimate solution for this, it's not going to get done today, but at some point, is put the 17 and 19 actuator on it and lengthen the wire and make it come out over here. Then you won't run into this issue and it'll look a little bit better. It won't rub up against the Y bridge, but got that in, got everything torqued back down. Now I'm just going to hop on my computer real quick in the truck, do the turbo vane relearn, and then we'll take it out and see if that did anything for it. So I just hopped on the computer, did the turbo vane relearn, so now I'm going to unhook everything, start it up, and we'll take it out. So we'll see if we get one good pull out of it, but from driving it a little bit, it still seems like it's doing it, so. Yup, and right there, threw it right in the engine power reduce mode, and doing the exact same thing. Just like I thought. I could tell from driving it, the vane sounded a little bit wonky, so guess it's back to the drawing board. The vane position is just all over the place, 125, 40, 125. It's just not doing what it should be, so I guess the next thing to do is go back. We're gonna check all the grounds from the new engine being put in and check literally every sensor, go over everything, because at this point I'm kind of stumped on what it could be. And like I said, there's not really a good starting place because everything on the engine was touched, so guess we're gonna head back home and start going over something else. And I was being optimistic that it was the actuator, but at the same time, when everything happened, the actuator was fine, and the same actuator went back in. So, like I said, I'm kind of lost. So, start digging into it a little bit deeper and see what we can find next week. Alright, so we're back from the test drive, and like I said, unfortunately, it's doing the exact same thing. So I'm not really sure where to start now. I guess I'm going to go over all the grounds, check all the map sensor, everything along those lines, and basically go from there. Then you know, if it's still doing it. I don't know if it's from the new engine being put in. Like I said, every single thing on this truck's been touched. So maybe we'll go back to the stock turbo for a little bit, see what that does, and still doing the stock turbo, then we know we have another problem. So if you guys are new here, be sure to subscribe. If you like this video, be sure to leave it a big thumbs up. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
Stop this conversation. We got